Villains are the interesting people that appear in a protagonist movie. Disney has many of the best villains over the years, like Jafar, Hades, Hook, Ursula, Gaston, etc. But sometimes we audience want to know the villain's motives and backstory. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Cruella, a film released in 2021. This movie is not only a backstory of our favorite villain, but it's also a prequel to the 1960s 101 Dalmatians. I can't believe they actually had a movie about our favorite villain. But this is not the first time they make movies about Disney villains, like Maleficent for example. And I know that I am a few months late for this, but I really want to talk about this film. But anyway, so the movie begins of a woman giving birth to a baby, showing Cruella with her iconic black and white split hair. We see a couple of the scenes of her back in the 1960s of her childhood, along with his pet dog Buddy. She gets bullied because of the way she looks and getting a lot of trouble. I forgot to mention that since she has evil tendencies, her mom always referred to her as Estelle, a good version of Cruella, and which means he has a split personality. You see, since he is bad and all, Estelle is the good person that keeps her away from evil, while being Cruella shows her true potential. Anyway, she eventually got expelled because of her actions, and she and her mom decided to go to London because she couldn't be a fashion designer in a very small town and no school to attend. Before the two would get to London and go into the fountain, Cruella's mom needs to go meet a friend of her because of the situation they had been dealing to a place called Hellman Hall. Her mom tells Cruella to stay in the car just to stay low. But unfortunately, she broke the promise. She followed her mom inside the mansion and sneaked inside by getting under a cart with a cake on top. As he went in, she saw many people all dressed up as if they were in the Victorian period. Her dog wanders off as Cruella starts getting him back until she was caught by a man named John. They got away from him, but she was getting chased by grown Dalmatians and start following her until they were outside. Cruella shouted to her mom, talking to a woman at the cliff, but she couldn't get her attention, but she was still getting chased by the Dalmatians. She quickly hides from the dogs, but after she hides, one of the Dalmatians run Cruella's mom off a cliff. Cruella starts getting out of there as she jumps into a truck heading for London and rode all the way. She went to the fountain her mom promised to go to, and with no mother or a home, she slept there for the night. When she woke up the next morning, we see her two henchmen as children. Chased by the police just for Horace stealing coins on the fountain, and she followed the two boys to the abandoned roof. After that, since she has nowhere to go, Jasper and Horace let Cruella stay. Then we see Cruella dyeing her hair and see a transition of her in her mid-20s, acting as Emma Stone, which she plays her part in Easy A and Zombieland. This is 10 years later in 1975, where our trio, Cruella, Jasper, and Horace, along with their dogs Buddy and Wink, spends most of their time stealing using fabulous clothing used as disguise. In her birthday, Jasper and Horace set up a birthday to a Cruella, and her birthday present was getting hired to a fashion designer department store called Liberty of London. She gets intrigued as she got the job, but her expectations were very low. Instead of working as a fashion designer, she was working as a janitor. Upset and aren't interested in her, she became drunk and ruined a Windows display. The next day, she slept at the Liberty of London and instantly got fired. Out of coincidence, Baroness, the woman who appeared in the first scene, entered the place to ask the manager of who made the window design. Almost arrested, Baroness told her assistant to hire her, and she and her friends quickly escape. The next day, she spends her time working with Baroness, meeting another fashion artist named Artie, as in Art, until a revealing twist. Cruella noticed Baroness is wearing the same necklace her mom was wearing, and she realized that Baroness stole it. So, she had a plan to steal it. Since Cruella knows everything about her and the new private event, Cruella was planning that she was going as the distraction, while Jasper will hack into the place, while Horace will disguise himself as a pest inspector to get the necklace in the secret vault. Horace got into the vault, and when he opened it, it was empty, meaning the necklace is with Baroness. While Cruella is stalling, Jasper came as the waiter and caused a big distraction.
Such a brat.
Cruella finally got the necklace and gave it to her dog. But when Buddy was escaping with it, one of the Dalmatians bumped into him and accidentally swallowed it. She heard a whistle so similar until she realized something as she saw it. It was the same whistle that Baroness was blowing on when she summoned the Dalmatians. Baroness killed Cruella's mom. The gang finally escaped, and we hear Cruella talk about the 5 stages of grief.
Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Well, I'd like to add one more. Revenge.
Lady, there is no revenge on the stage. There's only 5. The next morning, Jasper and Horace were just having a good breakfast until Cruella gets herself a new look. She tells Jasper and Horace in a rude tone that one of the Dalmatians ate the necklace, and she tells them to steal all of them while she was going to London editorial. She meets Anita, one of the classmates she met at the first scene and at the private party, and asks her to tell everyone about her. Her main goal was to take over Baroness' company and having her revenge. And then we see a ton of scenes of Cruella getting people's attention with her fashionable designs and getting on the front cover newspapers. Then we see Cruella at work and Horace delivering honestly, what is that? Crates filled with golden part thingies? Look, sorry, I don't know anything about fashion, okay? He spends the entire night making this dress, and Baroness was astonished that both of them celebrated. At the middle of the night, Jasper and Horace were at the workplace, messing around the misunderstanding of stealing the clothes, and then the next day, Baroness put all the clothes away in the vault in case Cruella tries to steal them. And then back at home, Jasper was getting worried for Cruella as she thought to herself of what if she could make a coat out of Dalmatian skins.
They really would make fabulous coats.
Yeah, hopefully you're kidding. Tonight we see people getting ready for the fashion gala, but the vault is not opening. But after they open it, the vault was filled with moths already eating the remains of the clothes design. Everyone was out of the event until a rock hard event was happening in the park. Everyone was so gothic and dark until... Yeah, she literally killed the Dalmatians and then uses them to make a cloak. The police came while everyone escaped, and Baroness grew suspicious as he saw Jasper and Horace outside the park. Cruella got herself back home, as Baroness, along with her guards, has the 2 tied up. She finally knew that Estelle was Cruella, and Cruella told about Baroness about what happened 10 years ago. Jasper and Horace are arrested, and Cruella is tied in the flames as a mysterious figure came to rescue her. She woke up the next morning and saw John, the man who worked for Baroness, and was the one who saved her. He also has the necklace, and when he was doing something to it, it was a key. A key to a wooden box. John gave the honors to Cruella to open it, and yet again another twist. It was a birth certificate, and her real mother is Baroness. It turns out that Baroness was not happy that she had a child, and when he had the offspring, she told John to get rid of her, but he didn't allow it as he gave it to Catherine, the woman at the first scene and not the real mother, and sends her away from Baroness. She turns angry and confused as she stole the mailman's bike and went to the same fountain again, talking to herself about she was meant to be a bad person, not a good person. Meanwhile, Jasper and Horace are in jail and was saved by Cruella, but they didn't join her because of her actions until she told them about their real mother. They still wouldn't join her, but luckily she was able to convince his friends. Everyone was back in business. Cruella and the rest of the crew start making clothes and delivering them to people who were on the list for the next event. Tonight, everything was according to plan. It takes place back in Hellman Hall, and everyone on the list who were invited looked like Cruella cosplays, and Jasper tells everyone to go to the guest room while disguising as one of the guards. Horace disguised as one of them, Horace locks them all up, and Cruella began her plan as well. She blends in the crowd and stole Baroness' dog whistle. She then dresses up back as Estelle, and goes to the same cliff Catherine fell in. The Dalmatians heard the whistle and started following it. And then we see a mother-daughter bonding scene, and while that, Jasper, Horace, and the others tells everyone to join the Baroness while the two bonded. Aw, they're hugging.
Idiot.
Well, that was unsettling. Everyone watched, and it turns out that she's not really dead. There was a parachute under her top, and after all that, Baroness was arrested and Estelle was finally back into Cruella. And then we see Cruella and her friends took Hellman Hall as their home, and we have a happily ever after ending. And that's it! Cruella finally has her revenge, and I gotta say, it was actually pretty good to see a film based on a villain's life. But anyway, thanks for watching. Hopefully this video was entertaining because I'm going to make more episodes of World of Fiction from time to time. I'm not only going to review movies, but I'm also going to review tons of more shows like anime, cartoons, and TV series. But I will be going back and making Quarks vs. Stance later. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.